Warning, the following communications are not authorized. Please disable your signals and report to your local re-education center immediately. Failure.
They are really trying to stop us from broadcasting today, Eric.
Well,
welcome, everybody. So we're here, our usual partnership. We're on both sides. We can change it up unless Drea doesn't want to be in the middle of us. It's a lot of talking. It's going to get into her ears. Just pretend we're all in the same room. We're here with Drea Humphrey. For those of you who watch me or Eric and don't know, she's a reporter with Rebel News. She has her own YouTube channels. We'll quickly give a plug for some of her stuff here. Drea Humphrey at Rebel News. You can find her there. All of her stories, her latest stuff is a church reopening. Drea pushes for church.
Oh, am I supposed to talk now? Yeah, that's somebody in politics is actually trying to do something about it. A council in Vernon, BC is trying to get churches open.
And then you can find her on her YouTube channel, Hunger for Truth with Drea Humphrey. And we'll get to some of these topics. Our first topic is going to be, you guys, the Antifa riots in Portland that happened on Inauguration Day. Of course, no coverage of it. All the coverage was on the worst inauguration anyone's ever seen. I mean, all of a sudden they love America. All of a sudden everything is peaceful and unified. Drea, did you watch any of it?
You know, I did see quite a few snippets here and there on Twitter, but the inauguration, I had to bow out. I had to keep my sanity. And I was like, you know what? There's so much craziness going on. There's so much news to look at. I'm going to choose, not to suffer through that. So, but I did see snippets.
Eric?
Well, pretty much the same. I chose not to watch any of the inauguration. In air quotes, right? It's an absolute joke. I mean, it's a joke, bro, right? I mean, we don't have to beat the dead horse. We all know that something is not particularly on the level with this. So I didn't see 1 second of it. I don't think I mean, what, they're all wearing purple or something. J-Lo was there. I think maybe Garth Brooks was there, which obviously begs the question, why are you calling in Hollywood? I mean, it's all clearly so artificial. So I bowed out of it. And I was actually surprised to see the riots. I don't know why that surprised me. J20, of course, as they call it. But what do we expect, right? And obviously, we still don't. After they burned us at the stake, anybody who even stepped foot in D.C. on the 6th as basically a domestic terrorist or whatever, but they still. So I can kind of understand, right? If you watch riots and looting all summer, but now something happens on the 6th and you say, well, it's different because it's the Capitol. Fine. But how did they not see it happen only a week later and still ignore it? It's very bizarre stuff.
I watched probably about a minute and a half. We had it in our own stream. I saw Jennifer Lopez start singing God Bless America. They did the transparent American flag waving. And all I could think about is, oh, now we care about America. Now the flag isn't white supremacist or colonialist. Now we're all supposed to be coming together. And then it's the fakest, most contrived thing, Drea. I don't know who is buying this anymore, who is loving it. Does any normal person care, or do they care more than I know?
What do they call it when it's just way too difficult to admit that you're wrong, that you just have to keep going along with it? I think that's what's happening.
Compulsive liar, maybe? I don't know.
I forget. Is it cognitive dissonance or something like that? Yeah, I think that's what we're seeing here. And can we talk about Lady Gaga and the Hunger Games? That's what I saw.
I did not see that. I will look that up for us right now.
You got to look it up. You got to find the side by side of what she wore and the Hunger Games. I'm thinking okay, I was already thinking Biden's getting in. What does this mean to me? We're done. We're done. And then you see this. It's like, oh, no, that's not the right picture. There is the Hunger Games lady who's wearing the exact same outfit. Oh, if I was techie, go back up a little bit. Okay, so see here, look there. They both have the bird. They both have the red dress. Like, we're living in the Hunger Games. And who do you think is being hunted now that Biden's in?
Lady Gaga either is like a genius or she's completely like their number one person where they go to for propaganda, whether it's like the Marina Abramovich lady or Jay-Z. It's always like Lady Gaga is the one in the forefront who they turn to for this, Eric. And you know what's
remember only a week or so before the election when Lady Gaga did her impersonation of like a regular American. She's standing outside the
yes.
truck. So I'm speechless, bro. I don't understand it.
She did this thing. The funny thing is, when I was making compilation videos years ago, Lady Gaga had this video clip where she's interviewed and she's just like, I don't believe in denigrating men or American roots. I love muscle cars and I love macho men. And it's like somebody probably had a talk with her about that. I don't think I'm going to be able to find. I put in Lady Gaga truck and no, I can't find it. They probably thought that was a swing and a miss. We can't have that on anymore.
When she chugged the beer and she like
yeah, I know what you mean, but
I missed that.
Oh my God, embarrassing.
Try Lady Gaga beer and see if that comes up.
It was obviously her trying to mocking like a middle American.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. And another thing is, of course, nobody wants to talk about the Betsy Ross flag anymore. Remember when Colin Kaepernick had it banned off the Nike shoes because it was racist?
Mm-hmm.
But of course, it was definitely visible. I mean, I saw photos. I saw still photos of it. I didn't catch any actual video of the inauguration. Like, I literally bowed out and started watching. I'm not joking. Like hours of golf, of vintage golf, because I couldn't deal with it.
Here comes Jack Nicklaus with the putt. He's positioning himself on the green now.
Exactly. I mean, it was more like 1999, like 97, like early Tiger Woods stuff. Not quite all the way back, but same thing. I couldn't do it.
Well, Drea, I was looking for photos in preparation of the inauguration, and there's no pictures of actual. I don't know why there's a picture of Cher there, but there's no actual pictures of the crowd or anything. They've made it about what Bernie Sanders is wearing.
Yeah. And look, go back to him for a sec, though. Come on, man. This guy had better things to do that day, man. He had so much going on. Like he was just ticking off the box being there. But it is weird. Did it really happen? I'm not sure.
What is really going on is we've got the controlling. It's like the what is it? The Holy Roman Empire. All the leaders of that coming back together. We've got the Bushes, the Bidens, the Clintons. Bill Clinton falling asleep. I'll look that up. And the Obamas. Somebody's trying to give me a cricket right now. They got the Obamas all coming together. It's like the five families, I think, is what I was going for. And it's just like they're back in control, you guys. And somehow some people think that this is going to be great.
China.
Exactly.
Their state media was like, "Woo, good riddance, Trump."
Yeah. Every time I kind of get over it, it just comes roaring back. They like pull me back in. I'm like, they literally are telling us that we don't care what you think. We don't care how the voting goes. We don't care about none of that. We're going to do it this way. Right? They knew from the beginning, long before when I was talking to people, when I'm, messaging people on my Instagram and they're like, "Oh, Eric, what do you think? Like, how's this going to turn out?" I'm like, dude, obviously like Trump landslide. I'm watching every single thing. I'm back and forth to DC, going to all these rallies, walk away, and all sorts of things, Lexit, all sorts of things. People are actually waking up, and the whole time the left is just rioting. And I'm like, for sure, dude, like, are we really to believe that all the people that were out rioting for months are really going to diligently drop a vote in the mailbox for Joe Biden? So we know that that's not going to happen. But when it was all said and done, they literally just said, we don't care. We're doing it this way. That's why they weren't worried, because they knew from the beginning, we're going to throw this virus at them. We're going to do mail-in voting. None of that matters. Voting does not matter.
We've got a fake super chat here.
What's
I think it's famous guy Abdul Salam Burzagan, otherwise known as Mocha. He's a fake. Eric, if you don't know, and if the viewers don't know, I did a live stream with him last week. Mocha is a super famous guy that we work with, super famous in Turkey, hundreds of thousands of followers, millions of views, and he sent us a fake super chat now because he thinks he's funny. Have you heard of the 1 million Mongolian soldiers on the Canadian-Greek border? So you know what that is I get emails all the time about how there's 10,000 troops in British Columbia, where the place where Drea lives. And it stems from a video that nobody bothered to research, but turned out to be like some weird, like cultish gathering of just Asian women. They were just wearing fatigues. They're not Chinese military.
Yeah, they're not
fatigues.
Chinese. Yeah.
So people just assumed they were Chinese soldiers, and that spawned 100,000 emails to me saying, "Do you know there's Chinese soldiers in British Columbia?" And now that's changed to there's 50,000 or 75,000 or 100,000 troops on the Canadian-U.S. border and the U.S.-Mexico border, and they're waiting for the go-ahead from Joe Biden to invade. Like the movie's called Red Dawn, where China and North Korea invade. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Invading, right? Are we watching this new caravan of people who I probably should have looked into this a little bit better, but wherever they're making their way up from some South American country, and there's that viral clip of the guy who basically is saying that Joe Biden is going to save them. I mean, we're talking about thousands of people like who are hoping and praying and wishing that Joe Biden is going to just open the door. Now, this is the same group of people that were scared, very scared of the virus 2 weeks ago, a month ago. So now we're going to open the doors completely for everybody. But before you couldn't even go get a haircut?
He opened the door to the unemployment building already for Canada. Immediate, wasn't it day one he did the Keystone thing?
Oh, he has done, I can name off the top of my head. One of my friends here today said, somebody I know is blaming Biden. He's not even in office yet. And I was like, well, hold on. He's done a lot already. He's put transgenders back in the military. He's killed the pipeline. He's promised to give amnesty to 11 million, even though they don't know what the number is. Other studies have said 25 million. He's taken the 1776 project out of the government so that now they can continue to do crazy social justice courses in government programs. He's done more than any other president's done on day one. It just so happens it's the worst ideas ever.
It's not even possible. Like, who's calling the shots here? Like, it's impossible for it to be day one of your presidency and do all that. Like, honestly.
No, that's a great question. Who is really calling the shots? Because we all know the guy can barely put together a sentence.
This is who's calling the shots, Eric. This man right there.
Slick Willie. Slick Willie.
Looks like Pence has fallen asleep too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to think about Pence. A lot of people are angry at him. Some people are like, he's still a patriot. I don't really know. I never really cared. The man has the personality of like a root vegetable. So I'm not, I like Donald Trump. Like, it's funny to me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So like you watch some of the old clips of him. Like, dude, you can't help but laugh a little bit at some of like his one-liners and stuff. It's like,
I know. Like,
if anyone watching wants to give a super chat, we'll read it on the screen. But right now we're going to get to Portland. Andy everybody. He's got some good footage usually. So this is what we were talking about, what was happening in Portland. No news coverage of it all. Somebody told me that Newsmax covered it, which of course is on channel 9000. I'm not sure exactly what it is. But here they are destroying stuff. F something.
Biden. They misspelled it.
Oh, very good.
Biden.
ACAB, of course. More F Biden. Why spray paint it if you're just going to smash it?
And you know what also I noticed? When the George Floyd riots were happening in New York, there was also a lot of misspellings. I mean, are they like it was literally I couldn't spell the word George.
Garage. Garage Fleming.
But also, I thought like the National Guard came in. Like, where are they during this? Like, it's out of control. Like, what happened to all the security? It was only for Republicans or what?
Well, this was in Portland, not DC.
Oh, right, yeah.
But still, when still it only swings one way, right?
Yeah.
Like, if there were some Trump supporters in Portland who had maybe wanted to go to the Capitol building in Oregon, I can almost guarantee you there would have been National Guard. Now, I can't say for sure, but I mean, chances are high that if some conservatives wanted to protest outside of the Capitol building in the state of Oregon, there would have been National Guard. But these guys, no, everybody looks the other way.
I mean, the left put us through riots and, deaths over 30, I believe. 4 months we had to endure that. And then they even at the time of the election were saying, oh, there's going to be riots from the Republicans. And there wasn't. They got one little taste of it. And then it's like the end. It's the end, and nobody remembers anything.
And for the record, though, right, don't we? I mean, we're still not 100% clear on who actually started breaking into the Capitol. I mean, so even that could still almost be blamed on the left. Maybe that's just me being a little bit biased, but.
Well, it needs to be investigated, that's for sure.
And we've got sleeping Bill Clinton, we've got all these crazy Antifa people. So with all this, what's been going on is Biden is actually saving the world with all these policies. And as you may or may not have heard, CDC now says survival rate for under 70 is over 99%. I thought I was a conspiracy theorist 3 months ago for pointing that out.
Yeah.
And so did hundreds of other people, by the way.
Yeah.
In my
grandma.
And so now the WHO has also stated, oh, by the way, most of the tests are faulty. And of course, this is why we've got the warning at the beginning of the video. So now they're saying that the PCR guidelines, World Health Organization updates PCR guidelines, and they were saying that you were testing positive too easily.
Yeah, you think?
So World Health, I'll read some of it here for everybody. World Health Organization has updated their instructions on how to properly use PCR tests for the detection of COVID-19, seen as the gold standard in determining whether an individual is positive for COVID-19 tests. And so basically, it's going to be more difficult to test positive on this. And so my whole thing here now is we've got LA, Chicago, New York, and DC all saying that we should start opening up. We've got a higher standard for positive COVID tests now. And so what I think is going to happen is Joe Biden's got his 100 days of masks. So cases are going to go down because the testing's more stringent. The economy is going to go up because everything's opening up. And all of a sudden, look at what Joe Biden's done in 100 days, you guys. The economy is great. Tests are down, or positive tests are down. And all of a sudden, we've elected the greatest man alive. He is your king emperor.
It's so obvious. And of course, they're going to say the vaccines too played a part in it. And
now the vaccines, are we still, so now that we know that the tests are inaccurate, now that we know that this is stuff that we already knew, but
yeah, we knew it. Now that they are admitting it, like it's new news.
Are we still going along with this vaccine stuff? Are we still going along? At one point, I believe the New York Times wrote an article saying that you should wear 2 masks.
Do I have to play the Ben Bankas video again?
No, our top doctor, Teresa Tam, said 3 layered masks here. She did.
I'm going to have to attempt to dig up that video, you guys. I'm sorry.
The whole PCR test, it drives me nuts that we've been using this. It can't even detect if you are infected. Portugal is way more advanced than us. They already said this test is crap. They already ruled that the test is too unreliable, and thus, once you admit that, there's no pandemic, which makes you a conspiracy theorist.
Are we going to be able to fly internationally? Are we going to have to get these vaccines? I mean, are airlines going to come off their high horse? I mean, I watched them, they went off the deep end pretty quick. At the beginning, they were like, yeah, please wear a mask. You could obviously say, I have a medical exemption, I have asthma, whatever. And they were letting it go. And then slowly but surely, they were like, no, you have to wear a mask. Your 2-year-old has to wear a mask. If your 2-year-old doesn't wear a mask, you're going to be banned from flying. Like, what? Like, is all of that stuff going to, I mean, Joe Biden is going to save us from all that stuff? Okay, fine. I get, you know what? If Joe Biden will save me from having to wear a mask everywhere I go, I guess that's a small victory. But it pains me that it's all been so fake and manufactured. And that brings me like back to one of the last videos that I made about the timeline. I mean, the way that Cuomo and Newsom were literally doing same thing at the same time, clear across the country and pretending that it wasn't manufactured, all the way down to like last week when Mayor London Breed of San Francisco, who is completely corrupt, but I digress.
It's a really weird name.
She's an awful woman. I made a couple of videos about her. She is awful. She's ruined San Francisco. And she became mayor after Ed Lee, the corrupt Chinatown gangster, died at a Safeway, died at a supermarket. All very peculiar stuff. After Gavin Newsom was done having his way with San Francisco. But on the same day, the mayor of San Francisco and the mayor of New York say, we're going to run out of vaccines by the end of the week. How is that possible?
You know, there's so many questions, and I'm also seeing a lot of like, oh, these vaccines got spoiled over here in Canada so that we can't use those. And it's like all of a sudden the vaccines are here, but you can't use them. What's that about? And I said it before, it's like they took away the normalcy. They told us we can't have normalcy until we have the vaccines, and then they took the normalcy away. It wasn't like people were just dropping dead, so we knew not to come out of our houses. You know, like they took it away and now they're giving it back with the vaccines. And I mean, let's be honest, vaccines have their purpose, but they make some people a lot of money. I don't think people are going to let go of that easy.
Yeah, that's one of the points that I've been, as things were going on, I'm past the point of trying to explain it because I think it should be obvious to most people, but this pandemic stood to make a lot of people a lot of money. Your Amazons, your Walmarts, your pharmaceutical companies, your Netflixes, maybe even people started watching Amazon Prime Video. I don't know. I doubt that. I have it because I have Amazon Prime, but the amount of times I go to Amazon Prime Video to watch something is very rare.
That's a great point. I'm mooching Amazon Prime Video, a friend of mine, but I wasn't watching it before. I'd never seen it. So, I mean, these are all great points, and it's really quite sad, unfortunately.
I'm just, you guys have better backgrounds than me. I mean,
but wait, well, you know what?
It's very color coordinated.
A friend, I call them freedom friends. These are people I've met off of Facebook and become friends with because we have freedom in common. He made me a nice background here. So next time, you're going to see something awesome. Like
what's on the shelf behind you there? Is that in these jars?
Those are paints. They're all chalk paint.
Nice.
Well then.
Yeah.
And then if we go to Eric, he robbed a New York subway station before he left.
Yeah, I had to get on this is what I call my propaganda graveyard. Forgot your mask, just ask. I have another one. So this one says face coverings are required on public transit. One day I might switch it to the other one that says please keep your distance, and it has the arrow, and it says keep this far apart, and it has the the arrows facing both ways. Of course, oops, keep your distance, save lives. RIP to the War Room YouTube as well. I got some of those. InfoWars, South Dakota stuff. Very fun stuff. And then Reopen New York. I got these Reopen posters. Sorry, I don't know when my left or my right here, but I got these Reopen posters all the way back in late May or early June, and I had no idea that we would still be going through this. It's January, and now Cuomo's saying, oh, you know what? This isn't really sustainable. It's like, yeah, dude.
See. But I have a question for you guys. How long did it take you to go from, okay, yeah, maybe we need to shut down for 2 weeks, or maybe you didn't even feel like that, to, oh my gosh, like open up?
I didn't think we... Go ahead.
No, I mean, because I was triggered by it, dude. I really was. Like, I knew at the very beginning because I had been paying attention. I made a YouTube video. It's still up on my channel. It doesn't have many views. You're more than welcome to watch it, of the timeline, right? from the beginning, all the way at the beginning, from when Trump himself was inaugurated in January of 2017, and the Washington Compost of all people is talking about impeachment, right? Now, of course, they want to impeach Joe Biden, whatever. It's all a waste of time and money. But they were talking about impeachment. They were talking about Russia. They were talking about Kavanaugh. They dropped Russia like a hot potato, switched it to Ukraine. I mean, just the list goes on and on and on. I broke it down. It's like a 20-minute video. I really went pretty deep in there. And as soon as the shutdown happened, I knew, I was like, this is political. I knew it from the first day. Now, I will admit that I didn't believe people were actually going to go along with it as long as they did. I didn't believe that when I got furloughed from work, I was like, okay, not bad. I could use 2 weeks paid off. But little did I know it was going to turn into 3 months. And then, you know, so I knew it was something was up from the very beginning.
At the beginning, I was completely against it. I didn't think it was going to happen. I said, I don't think the sports organizations are going to give up the money. I don't think that anyone's going to close all this stuff and make up the money. And then as I disagree with it as it happened, and I started to look at a place like Victoria, Australia, who completely shut down and pretty much got rid of it. Even though I don't agree with that, and I'm not willing to give up my freedoms like that, at least if we did that immediately for a month, even upwards of 2 months, now that we're in month 11 or 10, that would have made more sense. Instead of dragging it on and on and on, I don't think we should shut down like that now. But instead of dragging it on and on and on, should have, if you're going to do that, then do it right away. But Doug Ford is either not calling his own shots or he was too weak to do it at all. And speaking of the Fords, he's got 2 daughters who are vehemently opposite political views. They're always posting Trump stuff. They're always posting stuff that's...
Really? I didn't know that.
They're always posting like holistic medicine, encouraging fitness. He's got 3 daughters. One of them's like a competitive fitness person. I don't know if she's political or not, but his other 2 daughters are very political. And one of the BuzzFeeds or something like that, Narcity, they put out a hit piece on one of them for posting something about it. And so I've asked them to be interviewed on this a couple times now, and I think it would be pretty powerful to have the politician's own daughters completely disagree with him on camera, but they won't do it. So I'm fed up with them. The first time they said, "Oh no, it's we love our father and we don't want to disagree with him publicly." The second time said, "No, thank you, Andrew. We love what you're doing. We appreciate your support, but we just don't want to." How about you say something at least? Like, I get that you don't want to shit on your father like this, but like, if you completely 100,000% don't agree with him, Ivanka Trump has disagreed with Trump for much, much smaller things. But if you just like, you have the power to do something to make people think from a different point of view. Maybe somebody in his own family disagrees with them, and they still won't do it. I don't get it. I don't want to say it's cowardly, but I'm sorry, but it is. At this point, I'm fed up with anyone who's willing to play along with this.
I kind of get the father card. I'll give them that. But I mean, like, when Trump's niece didn't like a whole book get published when she had things to say about him. And didn't Trudeau's like half brother come out and say like he disagrees with his political stuff too?
Obama's brother.
Obama's brother.
Yo, that guy's hilarious.
Osama bin Laden's niece is a pro-Trumper.
She did a Paul Joseph Watson interview.
Yeah.
Shout out Paul Joseph Watson. Return my emails, Paul. You returned the first few and now you don't respond. Shout out Paul Joseph Watson. If I was British and much taller, I feel like we'd get along. Let's hit some.
Why do you have to be taller?
He's like 6'3".
Oh, I thought he was like Will Witt size. I thought he was like 5'9".
No. That's the funniest thing. Someone from our office, I won't say who it is in love with Will Witt, and I told her, I was like, don't you know I'm so sorry, Will Witt. Will Witt's so nice to me, but he's not very tall, and I had to.
He's like 4'11", dude.
No, be nice to Will Witt. Will Witt has a hilarious thing, and I'll bring it up where he does. We won't be able to hear it, unfortunately, and I don't want to jack his swag. So he's got a hilarious bit where he does like one of those old-timey infomercials but pro Black Lives Matter stuff.
Oh, God. I think I did see this one here.
So shout out Will Witt. I was making fun of Will Witt for a year. I was messaging him saying your hair is fake. I was replying to everything he had saying, why don't you take off your wig and stuff like that? And he came on my show. That's how good of a sport he is. But
your hair is fake.
I mean, you can't see it there, but he's got really good hair, and I have to be the only one with nice hair.
Oh my God.
So I was gonna get to some promotional stuff for us, before we get to something fun. I'll show that I was trying to go back. There we go. There it was. Report and Opine, everybody, is your page. And you can see his stuff here. Great freeze frames you got. So you can follow Eric on there, Report and Opine, and then we jump over to Hunger for Truth, Drea Humphrey. You should start posting on there in your free time. I know you have like 17 kids, Drea. Is that correct?
I've got a full house, not 17 kids, and I'm working on a website actually. So
oh wow,
I'm gonna go for it.
10
well, I
steps
figure
ahead
I
of me
might get deplatformed pretty quick.
Yep.
So might as
yes,
well do that.
You will. I'll make sure of it. And then my show is airing in 5 minutes, I think, everybody. It's with Andrew Lawton. But you can go here and you can sign up if you want and watch.
Yeah.
Avi Ameni, Savannah Hernandez, Elijah Schaefer. Who am I? Who am I getting these interviews is what I want to know.
Oh, yeah. I forgot you also had, is it Michaela?
Michaela Peterson, yeah. Want to get her father on the show. I heard he has a book coming out. So hopefully that would be like, if I get Jordan Peterson on my show, I'll just be like, who am I? What did I just get to deserve this for? But let's play Ben Bankas's video because we've played it before. It's one of the funniest things ever. We're talking about wearing multiple masks, and I love it.
My name is Ben Bankas, and I am a pro masker. I wear the mask all the time. When I'm in the shower, when I brush my teeth, when I drive, when I go to the grocery store. Hi guys, do you know where the masks are?
Masks?
Yeah, masks. Gloves and masks? Where are they? I don't see them. Is this a mask? And when I leave the house, I put on as many masks as possible to protect myself and others from the deadly coronavirus. I take this virus very seriously, and so does my husband. Yes, I am part of the LGBTQ community.
Good night, babe. Hi, baby.
I like wearing masks because then I don't have to be an individual. The weirdest thing about masks is both my husband and I have gotten COVID 7 times. Please, wear a mask.
Brought to you by Dr. Tedros, Klaus Schwab, and the United Nations.
Wow. It doesn't stop being funny. If you want to see Ben Bankas on YouTube, there's his Ben Bankas comedy. You guys can go check that out.
Oh my God.
I actually had not seen that video.
You haven't seen that?
No,
go watch it again on your own.
That's hilarious.
I keep trying to encourage him to do more nudity. I told him the other day we need a Ben Bankas. We need a Ben Bankas shirtless parkour while smoking a cigarette. He's in Texas right now, the land of freedom.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm still vouching for South Dakota. I hear
Right.
Yeah.
I'm hearing some strange things about like Austin, of course, which has always been far left. And I've been to Austin. I've been to Austin. I've been to Houston. But dude, it's nice here because like even just today, I can go out. I went to the. This is gonna sound kind of corny, but it's like the biggest like sports store in Sioux Falls. It's amazing. I spent not all day, but a couple hours looking at golf clubs and guns and archery stuff and Carhartt gear. They have a Ferris wheel inside the place. It's absolutely amazing. And you don't have to wear a mask. Now, the employees are wearing them, but they're nice. They're actually nice to me. I don't wear a mask. They're like, can we help you find anything? So they also have a cafe. You could get coffee and chocolate. That's all.
Where are you? Sorry, where are you?
I'm in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I have some more. Sorry, I can't keep this straight. This camera.
There you go. I see it now. I see it.
These damn reversed cameras. Part of the deep state. Let's check out some of the chats here, and then I'll let Drea Humphrey go because she has a more important life than we do.
I gotta eat. It's dinner time here, so my 17 kids are just waiting. So.
What are you, Mother Teresa? I had to tell somebody the other day that Mother Teresa was actually a fraud, you guys. I'm sorry. She took millions of stolen dollars. Her hospitals were shitty. People were treated on the floors. So Mother Teresa, just one of the many fake newses of our lives.
Ooh, that's a rabbit hole there.
Ooh.
Yeah.
There's a lot of comments. I'm happy. Go ahead, Drea.
Oh, no. I don't know. I had one little topic I wanted to discuss. It's kind of like theorizing, though. It's like, what are you guys thinking about this second strain? Are they going to give us some freedom back, make us feel good, make us think Biden saved the world, and then rein it all back in for something else?
That's a great question. The second strain. Now, my theory, though, is if you can say the second strain, it's not more deadly, right? But it's more contagious. Couldn't you just say that about the original coronavirus? Like, it's just a new strain of the flu? I mean, couldn't you just use that same theory? Like, well, I mean, right? We all remember that the word coronavirus was on the back of a Lysol can for as long as we can remember. So what makes the original virus not just a new strain of the flu? And it's me personally, I'm done with it. But who knows what they're gonna do? My guess is, honestly, I think they're just gonna just let Biden take the W. Like, look, Biden saved us the 100 days of like you said. It's just gonna be like, now we know that the testing. Well, again, we knew, but they're admitting now about the testing and stuff. So they just ramped it up really quick at the end so they could get through the inauguration. 100 days of mask or whatever nonsense, and then say, look, Joe Biden's plan worked. He's so smart. That's what I think. But
Eric, you answer this question since it's about America. If there's a split of the country about to happen, where is the first section we would see it in?
Well, obviously California and New York, right? I mean, we're already seeing it. Like California and New York, I'll say it again. They did the exact same things at the exact same time. They pushed for the same policies, even down to in the same week they were ordering hospital ships. And that's why I came here, because while it will erode away at the coast, so New York, California, even Florida and Texas are not going to be safe from this. South Dakota is not going to be safe from this, but South Dakota, in my humble opinion, will be the last. It'll be the last states, one of the last, South Dakota, Wyoming, even North Dakota, just north of me, already has like a split right down the middle. And I'm sure you may or may not have seen the news story that their governor is now like outlawing mask mandates and lifting all the capacity guidelines and stuff. So that's all happening, but I don't know as far as like where's the first section we will truly see it. We're already seeing it. We're already seeing these hard left blue states do completely nonsensical things and claim that they're saving you. So I guess my answer is it's already happening, and naturally it's California and New York.
All right. On that note, here's one for you, Drea. It's crazy how nothing could open when Trump was president. Today in DC, they started opening restaurants to 25%. They're double the numbers of infections from days ago. Trump had his mask off. I don't know if that's a metaphor or not, Drea Humphrey. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's crazy. It makes no sense. Nothing makes sense about any of it all. And I think it seems like everything happens so fast too. So it's going to be blatantly that they're all saying the same thing. Everything's opening. But I think people are just so dependent on headlines and mainstream media that they're just going to eat it all up. Unfortunately. I don't think they'll have that aha moment like, wait, something's going on here. If you haven't had that moment already, like, honestly.
Well, I was pretty impressed with...
People remember what happened even 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I was pretty impressed with my friend I was talking to today. I think less than 2 months ago, he was saying, like, you're not one of those... Everyone's Alex Jones, by the way, if nobody's learned that, right? Yeah. You're not one of those anti-maskers, are you, Andrew? come on, man. He said, come on, man. And I don't think he knows that's a Biden thing. But now today, when I was talking to him, he's just like, I don't trust either party. I don't think they had any grounds to impeach Trump. I don't like Trump, but they had
Wow.
I looked up the definition of inciting violence under U.S. law. It doesn't qualify for that. So I'm pretty proud. Like, if you're not gonna, if you don't particularly support my viewpoint, at least you don't support any of them, I guess.
Yeah. That's the way it should be.
So, Eric, before we go, you want to tell everybody any updates about your book? Eric's got this cool book coming out of when he lived in New York. He took pictures of everything. That's kind of how you got such a big following, was documenting the homeless people, the piles of garbage and feces. I don't know if maybe you saw like a street shooting, maybe something like that.
Well, I actually kind of witnessed a drive-by, and that was
that's good.
Well, that was like sort of the straw that broke the camel's back when I was actually going to work, because when I returned from the furlough, so when I was out of work for whatever felt like eternity, it was probably 4 or 5 months, and I'm going back to work, and now when I get back, I have to work on weekends because the virus doesn't work on weekends. None of it really made any sense. So I'm actually going to work on a Sunday morning of all days at like 8 a.m., 8:15, 8:15 in the morning. And I take 2 steps out of my front door in Flatbush, Brooklyn, and I hear like 6 or 8 shots. Bow, 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 bow. And I'm like, really? Is that really what I thought it was? And I see this other kid, this young kid, maybe, I don't know, 20 years old or something, a couple of steps away from me. And we both look at each other. We're like, no way. And of course, I look at my Citizen app and it says Regent Place and Ocean Avenue. Shots fired, blue Honda. And I was like, I didn't see the shots, but I heard the shots, and then I saw the blue Honda come around the corner. And that was pretty much the reason. So I'm paying through the nose. I'm paying an arm and a leg to live in Flatbush, Brooklyn. And the garbage is not getting picked up, yada, yada, yada. But when that happened, that's when I went from, at first I was just gonna move out of the boroughs. I was gonna go to maybe Long Island or upstate or something and commute in for work. But when that happened, I was like, you know what? I'm going to wipe my hands completely of New York, get as far away as possible, or not as far away as possible, but, halfway. I'm not going back to California, that's for sure. But so to that point, I almost did see a street shooting, but the book is just, it is, you know what? The publisher Gatekeeper Press, looks like on the 15th, it was approved. So I'll be getting my copy. This is a very, very rough.
I love that.
Yeah.
That looks cool.
It's a man with a garbage bag.
I know, but I mean, it makes you want to open the book, right?
Exactly. Thank you. But this is actually a small first draft. The real copy is going to be a full 8.5 by 11, 260 pages, and I should be getting my copy very soon. There's going to be an ebook supplement, and I don't have a hard date, but it has been approved. I have approved it, so it's we're looking at between 4 to 6 weeks now.
Eric,
Nice.
I think a promo line for that would be, "Do judge this book by its cover."
There we go.
I'm writing things as we go along here. Drea Humphrey, do you want to tell people what you're up to without saying things that you're not supposed to say that'll get you fired?
Oh, wow.
Well, I just mean don't give away any stories.
Story of my life. What am I up to? So my beat right now has been about the churches being banned. Like in BC where I live, like we can't complain too much. We're actually pretty free compared to a lot of other places in Canada. But ironically, the churches are closed. Like, I mean, everything is open. Like you can even have a wedding with a small amount of people. You can go to the bars, but you can't go to church. So that's my beat right now. But I'm really missing hammering down some reports on China. So I'm going to get back into that, especially since I saw, China spoke out from the UN and is, criticizing Australia about how they need to end racism there. So I call that bluff. So anyways, I'm going to start putting some more of that out.
China's racist. They're using their advanced soldiers, their psychoactive Floridized soldiers to take over the Australian peninsula. There's a peninsula now. They've built it. They're taking it over. They don't want the Patriots to rise up. And what better way to promote my show that just updated than by doing that? Conservatives are losing strategy. Great Andrews think alike is what I've been saying. Two Andrews make a right. Coming up with as many quips as I can for Andrew Law. And he had a lot of good stuff to say. He said that basically in the Western world, conservative political parties need to stop playing the game of the left. It's a losing strategy where they set the Overton window. They get to decide what's offensive and what's not. And Eric, if you're not familiar, within the last week, we've had, forget about all the politicians breaking their own rules, but in the last week, we've had one guy get fired from the caucus for publishing a letter. He put out a 2-page letter that explained how there's more suicides, there's more depression, there's more unemployment. Fired, you're gone. Another guy had a white supremacist donate $130 to his campaign under a fake name, or a name that wasn't his name, his legal name, or was his legal name. Basically, nobody knows who this guy is anyways.
It was his legal name, but it's not the name anybody associates with him being a racist.
Oh, okay.
And it was $130, so nobody's going to notice that. And then obviously that was probably planned, and they leaked it to the media. And all of a sudden, the party leader's like, "This is racist. We will not stand for such racism." And that's when you get the hair going. We will not stand, even though he's bald. We can't stand this. And then they fired him as well. So
they wanted him out for a while. Yeah.
So they're like,
set him up.
So that was that was the first straw. That was what their first excuse is, sorry. And then 2 days later, when they actually officially vote him out, they're just like, this was part of a longer list of reasons, and this was the final straw. If a person who nobody knows is the actual white supremacist donates $100 is the last straw, what does not count as a straw?
Mm-hmm.
Like does somebody yelling something in the background of one of your press conferences the last straw? Which apparently, I guess it is when people still yell the thing that'll probably get banned for saying behind news reporters. That's not allowed either. So maybe that's just wishful thinking here.
Dude, I don't know what path we're going down, but it's not ideal. I do think on the plus side, though, just trying to keep the glass half full is you can see it. Now, of course, the left is going to completely ignore it, but you can go look at the YouTube feeds or the YouTube streams of even mainstream news media that has way more thumbs down for Biden's inauguration speech, and it has thumbs up for Trump's farewell. It's all there. So eventually something's got to give. And for better, I didn't think it would get this bad. Even when I was protesting the lockdown all the way back in May, I didn't think that the hypocrisy would get this bad, but they just keep going. And to your point, they've gone so far, they can't just stop now and say, "All right, guys, we're sorry, we were wrong."
Yeah.
They just have to keep going. How silly are you going to look like? All right, you got us.
We need to do like a campaign that says, "We promise not to say I told you so." Like we promise. Like we'll just move on together.
I think we got to get them all out. I think we got to get every politician that's allowed this, every politician that's made excuses, certainly if they've broken their own rules, but liberal, conservative, I don't care who it is. You've gone along with this. You refused. Not only did they refuse to show us data, they refused to listen to any data. And it's just too much. You're not good leaders. And you've gone, especially where we are, we've gone against everything you said you were going to do when you went into office, which for me personally was not raise our debt, not give into social justice all the time. I don't even know what else there was.
Culture.
And that's the first thing they do. It's really disappointing.
Insanity.
Final words, Drea Humphrey.
I'm hungry and I had an awesome time on the show. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you guys. Thanks to everybody who watched and commented. Have a good night.